Welcome back to my channel. November's here, so today we're going to be talking about my most anticipated movies of the month. Before we begin, let me know in the comments which movies this month you are most looking forward to seeing, and make sure to give this a thumbs up if you like these videos, because it helps me out immensely if you do that. Also, if you're new here and you like movies, whether it be blockbusters, hidden gems, or everything in between, please consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the reviews of movies on this list and more. So something to keep in mind, as always, this will be in order of release date and will not be ranked by how much I'm anticipating each movie. This is also not a comprehensive list of everything coming out this month, and there will be movies released that aren't on this list that I'll still review. These are just the ones that are highest on my radar. But now, let's jump right in. Kicking things off is The Dark and the Wicked. Taking place on a secluded farm, a man is slowly dying, and his family gathers to mourn, though they're soon haunted by nightmares and begin to realize that an evil presence is taking over the family. Just because October's over, that doesn't mean horror movies are no longer getting released this year. I'm not familiar with anyone from the cast or crew here, but Brian Bertino, who wrote and directed this, has a history of writing, directing, and producing almost exclusively horror movies, and I get a sense from the trailer, which didn't reveal much, that he knows how to capture the atmosphere well. It played at Fantasia Film Festival over the summer and received positive reviews out of there. Plus, based on the plot description and the little that the trailer gives us, I got some major vibes that remind me of Hereditary, which was one of my favorite horror movies from the last few years. So, I have some high hopes for this one. It'll be out on VOD on the 6th. The Life Ahead stars Sophia Loren as a Holocaust survivor in seaside Italy who takes in a young boy who was recently orphaned, and the two become very close as they recount their vastly different life experiences. This is based on the novel The Life Before Us, which has received a lot of critical acclaim, and it marks the first live-action feature-length film of Sophia Loren in 11 years. And a lot of the film's marketing is centered around her performance, as this is being teed up as a potential Oscar contender for her. I'm not familiar with the novel, though as the title of both the novel and the film suggest, it's very heavily centered around the meaning of life and the different perspectives people have, so it should make for a sweet, emotional drama. This gets a limited theatrical release on the 6th, followed by a Netflix release on the 13th. Ammonite is a biographical drama that stars Kate Winslet as paleontologist Mary Anning, who spends her days alone hunting fossils for rich tourists. One tourist places his wife Charlotte, played by Saoirse Ronan, in Mary's care, and as the two become closer, it results in an affair. I've been hearing about this movie for quite some time now, and I'm sure we'll be hearing plenty of it come award season, given this relies heavily on the strengths of Winslet and Ronan's performances. And judging by the trailer, it looks like they're both bringing their A-game here. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of period pieces, and from the looks of the trailer, this looks like it'll be incredibly somber. But I'm a fan of both actresses, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they'll do here. So this is scheduled for a theatrical release on the 13th. The Climb is a look at the friendship of two men over the course of many years, as it's put to the test when it's revealed one slept with the other's fiancé. This was another one I've been hearing about for some time, mainly because it appeared on my radar much earlier this year, as it was supposed to get a March release, and then the pandemic occurred a week before its original release date. It got bumped multiple times, and I didn't hear about it for a little bit, but it looks like we're finally getting it this month. Based on the trailer and the plot synopsis, this looks not bad. It's the feature debut of director Michael Angelo Covino, who also stars in it, and I'm not familiar with most of the cast. Honestly, I wouldn't have thought much about it just based on the trailer, but it played at Cannes last year and Sundance this year, and it received a ton of positive reviews out of both. I've heard, despite a so-so premise, the execution is reminiscent of both Judd Apatow's and Wes Anderson's movies, and I'm a big fan of both of them, so this intrigued me. This will also receive a theatrical release on the 13th. Freaky stars Catherine Newton as Millie, a high schooler who becomes the target of a serial killer played by Vince Vaughn. And when the killer's magic dagger causes them to switch bodies, Millie realizes she has only one day to fix things before the switch becomes permanent. So, yeah, it's essentially a horror version of Freaky Friday, if the title wasn't a dead giveaway. It's not exactly the most original premise, but it's written and directed by Christopher Landon, who is behind a horror franchise that I'd call something of a guilty pleasure. And that would be the Happy Death Day movies, two wildly energetic horror comedies that I had an absolute blast with. And based on the trailer, this appears to be in the same vein as those movies, with a very similar tone. And I like Vince Vaughn, and while I appreciate his more dramatic turns in recent years, it'll be nice to see him return to a prominent silly comedy. Do I think this movie's going to reinvent the wheel and do something truly new? No, I doubt it. But I think it will be a lot of fun. So this is yet another movie getting a theatrical release on the 13th. Mank stars Gary Oldman as screenwriter Herman J. Mankiewicz and chronicles his time writing the film Citizen Kane, along with his clashes with director Orson Welles during production, as well as leading up to the film's release. And this is the big one this month, as I'm sure this is going to get a huge awards push specifically for Best Picture. David Fincher is back with his first movie in 6 years, with a screenplay written by his late father Jack from the 90s, and he's tackling the story behind what's considered the greatest film of all time. Now, I'll be honest, Citizen Kane itself isn't exactly one of my favorite movies ever. It's good, it's just not a go-to movie for me. But I love movies centered around the film industry and chronicling the making of a film, whether it's based on a true story or it's something totally made up. The Disaster Artist, Ed Wood, Barton Fink, and plenty of others come to mind, because movies like those are made by people who just absolutely love the industry itself. And you'll find so many little tributes to the art of cinema in there, and the way in which Mank is filmed, it's in the style of an actual movie from the 1940s, just to totally capture the mood of the time. So that alone has me excited. Plus, Fincher is honestly one of the best working directors out there, so I'm sure this will be a real treat, between him reteaming with Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross for the score, and an excellent cast that also includes Amanda Seyfried and Charles Dance. This gets a limited theatrical release on the 13th, but will be available on Netflix December 4th. Run stars Kiera Allen as a homeschool teenager who begins to suspect that her mother, played by Sarah Paulson, is keeping a dark secret from her. And that's the most I know regarding this movie's plot. The trailer did an excellent job of keeping the details hidden from us, but I'm very excited for this one because it's written and directed by Anish Chakraborty, who made his feature debut in 2018 with one of my absolute favorite movies of that year, Searching. And if you haven't seen that by now, you're missing out. This film played at a festival early last month and received critical acclaim so far, so it seems like lightning has struck twice for the filmmaker. If it even has half the complexity or just the craft that was seen in Searching, I think we're in for a fantastic time. But just be warned, spoilers are out for this already, so watch out if you look it up. The entire plot synopsis is on the Wikipedia page, and when I realized it, that was the fastest I ever clicked off a page in a while. So this one will be out on Hulu on the 20th. Sound of Metal stars Riz Ahmed as Ruben, a drummer who suddenly begins to lose his hearing. He's told to meet with a man who leads a deaf community who teaches Ruben how to accept his situation. I heard about this movie from early last year and thought it was never going to be released. It played at TIFF last year, was critically acclaimed, and then it got picked up by Amazon, and then I didn't hear about it for a while until it was supposed to be released over the summer, but the pandemic delayed it until now. The film looks like it's a deeply emotional, powerful experience and will clearly be anchored by Riz Ahmed's performance, and I'm sure this will be pushed to get him a Best Actor nomination. And that's great because I've always liked Riz Ahmed, who, after starring in 2010's hilarious Four Lions, has been in nothing but supporting roles. And he's been good, but it's clear he's capable of so much more given the right screenplay, and this appears to be it. So this gets a limited theatrical release on the 20th and will be on Amazon Prime December 4th. Uncle Frank stars Paul Bettany as Uncle Frank, who takes a road trip from Manhattan to South Carolina in 1973 with his niece, played by Sophia Lillis, and his partner, played by Peter Macdissi. When a death in the family occurs and he reunites with family members, it forces him to confront his past. This looks like a sorta feel-good family dramedy based on the trailer, and it looks like it'll be a mix of quirky at some points and sentimental at others. But it does look like it'll be entertaining, with a great cast that also includes Judy Greer, Steve Zahn, Margot Martindale, and Stephen Root. And the main reason I'm looking forward to it is it's written and directed by Alan Ball, who is also behind one of my favorite TV series, 6 Feet Under. His track record in both film and television is admittedly hit and miss. I'm not saying everything he touches turns to gold, but when he hits, it's a wonderful time, as he is great at telling family drama. So I think this will be worth the watch. This will be out on Amazon Prime on the 25th. And finally, we have Small Axe, and I'm cheating with this one as it's technically an anthology of 5 movies. And furthermore, another reason I'm cheating is because it's actually listed as a TV miniseries. But 3 of the 5 entries played at New York Film Festival this year, and most of them are feature length, plus they're listed in the movie section depending on which site you go to, so I'm counting them as movies. The 5 entries are titled Mangrove, Lover's Rock, Red, White, and Blue, Alex Wheatle, and Education. They're all written and directed by Oscar-winning filmmaker Steve McQueen, and they're all based on real-life events of ordinary people overcoming injustice and seeking transformative changes in their communities. Given McQueen is an incredible filmmaker, as he's had a hand in both art house and mainstream filmmaking, and crushed it in both areas, this should be great. The first entry, Mangrove, premieres on November 15th, with the remaining entries being released every Sunday until December 13th, and they'll all be available on Amazon Prime. And that's what we have to look forward to this month. With the pandemic pushing off a lot of big releases, it's given a lot of smaller entries a real opportunity to shine, and we still have plenty to look forward to. As always, I'll try having all my reviews out for these in a timely manner, along with other films I missed from earlier this year, and much more coming soon. So let me know though, what movies are you looking forward to in November? Was there anything I listed here? Anything I left off? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll catch you next time.